Hello, dear friends. He who doesn't run flies here in the race for real gold money. Opinion piece. Race for gold. Gibraltar's new gold coin. Spain unveils another new gold coin. Spain's tourism is back on the upswing. Currencies are set to collapse, says Jim Rickards. Britons turn to cash to control spending. Financial restart could start any day now. It may not be a sudden change, but a slow move. The purpose is not to focus on the economy, but on Ascension. No one knows the truth, and all information is pure speculation. A political party run by artificial intelligence is born in Denmark. 75,000 Britons will miss out on their electricity bills because of inflation. China's entire economy would collapse in 34 days, says Casgains Academy. Let's start. 2 Gibraltarian pounds is the face value of the new legal tender gold coin of the British colony of Gibraltar, minted by SEMSA in 2021 and a license from the Gibraltarian government, which takes the form of a small ingot of 1 gram of pure gold and sells for just over 70 euros. On the obverse, this coin bears the royal arms of England and the coat of arms of Gibraltar. On the reverse, the iconic rock and roll image, Tongue and Lips, by the Rolling Stones from 1971. Background. This is not the first time that this British colony has issued gold, silver and platinum coins in association with the Gibraltar International Mint. The official currency of Gibraltar is the Gibraltar pound, although the euro and even the dollar can be used. In 1992, Gibraltar issued a 15.94 gram gold coin worth 2 Gibraltar pounds to mark the 500th anniversary of Christopher Columbus' discovery of In 2014, it issued an exclusive edition of 20 commemorative legal tender coins worth 1 troy ounce of gold and worth 100 pounds sterling. In 2016, another 2 Gibraltar crown coin called Royal Arms of England was issued with 10 grams of gold to mark the Queen's 90th birthday. In 2018, another 6.22 gram gold Gibraltar 2 pound coin was issued. In 2020, another 2 Gibraltar pound coin called Vera 1 with 1 gram of gold. In 2022, Gibraltar issued a 1 ounce platinum coin for just over 1,000 euros. Looking for numismatics, I have seen direct sales even of supposed 24 karat rolled gold bar of $100 billion from Zimbabwe for only 20 euros, but I doubt it is genuine because it is too cheap. The medical sovereign. The most expensive British coin is a British sovereign that costs almost 1,000 euros. Royal Air Force pilots carry gold sovereigns on their belts for use in an emergency if they fall into enemy territory. James Bond, the Secret Agent 007, also carried gold sovereigns in case of emergency, but had to return them after his mission. The sovereign is a gold coin of the United Kingdom with a face value of 1 pound sterling. Minted since 1817, it was originally a circulating coin accepted both in the United Kingdom and elsewhere in the world, and later became an investment and collector's coin. Its most characteristic design is the effigy of the monarch on the obverse and St. George fighting a dragon on the reverse, with the initial BP to the right of the date, which corresponds to the designer Benedetto Pistrucci. Tax haven. Gibraltar's tax regime led to the OECD listing the territory as a tax haven in June 2000. The Gibraltar government made a commitment in 2002 to improve the transparency of its regulatory and tax systems and to establish an effective exchange of information on tax matters with other OECD members, so it was not included on the list of non-cooperative tax havens. Gibraltar is a British overseas colony located on a small peninsula at the southern tip of the Iberian Peninsula and borders Spain, which claims sovereignty over it. For the United Nations, Gibraltar as a colony is one of the non-self-governing territories under the supervision of its Special Committee of Decolonization, as are 16 other cases. It is home to a population of over 33,000 inhabitants in an area of less than 7 square kilometers, with an economy based on the service sector, mainly as a financial and tourist center and free port. Taking advantage of its privileged strategic position, it has a naval air base for the British Armed Forces. As benefits a Mediterranean port, Gibraltar's current population has a diverse background comprising British, Andalusian, Genoese, Maltese, Portuguese, as well as Arab and Jewish ancestry from North Africa and other southern Mediterranean countries. The Jewish community is mainly of Sephardic descent. Spanish currency. A few months ago, it was announced that the genuine gold coin had been put into circulation in Spain. This special edition was the first in a series of coins issued by the national body to open up a range of opportunity for all numismatic enthusiasts. After minting that €1.50 coin, the Royal Spanish Mint is now finalizing the issue of the new gold coin of Spain, which will have a very different value from the first one, although the image will be the same, the links. The new gold coin will arrive during the second 4-month period of 2022 and offers certain differences with the initial one. In this case, the gold coin will have a grooved edge instead of a smooth one. The image of the links will be the main feature on one side. On the same side, where the value of €0.15 as the inscription Iberian links, as well as the Banco de España logo, will be displayed in large print. The other side of this special coin shows an image of 2 hemispheres under the royal crown, flanked by the pillars of Hercules, with the motto Plus Ultra. The upper part of the design bears the large inscription Felipe VI, King of Spain, while the lower part indicates the real value of the coin, 1/10 of an ounce. The Spanish dollar. The first Spanish investment gold coin is the Spanish galleon of 1 ounce of gold, of which 12,000 units were issued in the last quarter of 2021 by the Royal Mint of the National Mint and Stamp Factory. Right now it is sold out and its price is almost €2,000, where the current value of an ounce of pure gold is just over €1,800. Also known as the Spanish dollar after US independence, the Real de Ocho was minted at the Mexican Mint, the metal coming from the Mexican deposits of Zacatecas or Guanajuato, and from the mines of Potosí in Bolivia, the largest silver deposit that has ever existed. It was the first universal currency, circulating not only in Europe and America, but also in Asia. In fact, Chinese traders only accepted these silver coins in exchange for their goods. The Spanish dollar was in use in the USA until 1857, when its use was banned. Reset news. The collapse of the world financial economy is underway. Along with food shortages, high gasoline prices and supply chain disruption. The launch of the financial restart would be determined by military quantum computer calculations and would depend on the near-death global civilization event. On Monday, August 8th, the EWSM energy of the Lion's Gate has begun. This is when a gateway to an extremely high-frequency galactic energy becomes available to us, and then on Thursday, August 11th, we will have an incredible full supermoon in Aquarius. So, this is an extremely powerful week. The problem with science is that it has no compassion. If science were a person, it would be a sociopath, says Poet Dog. Harvard researchers have found that fluoride, which is widespread in the water supply, is lowering IQ and dumping down the population. All over the world, and in almost every country, the elite and politicians are dumping stocks. They don't seem to care about insider trading loss. Globalization also reaches forest fires. Forest fires are changing all over the world with the same parameters: larger, more intense, and simultaneous fires. Elon Musk is launching thousands of satellites into space. They are part of the Starlink project, which aims to provide high-speed internet to remote areas of the Earth, but they also have other secret objectives. Nikola Tesla's free energy would eliminate any need for fossil fuels. Wireless power would be available for all to use. How much evidence is there that the top leaders of planet Earth are not human? Asked Benjamin Fulford. In quotes, many high-level intelligence agency types insist that we are being liberated from alien control. This sounds crazy, but there is plenty of evidence that something otherworldly is involved at the highest levels of government on this planet. According to the Gnostic Illuminati, the enemy would be a rogue artificial intelligence. This plot ended in 2012, and since then the former rulers have been improvising to maintain control. All currencies are going to collapse according to Jim Rickards. Have you ever wondered why countries can't just print money to pay off their debts or feed their homeless or fix unemployment or any other problem? The short answer can be summed up in two words: inflation and lack of solidarity. Confusion. Chaos and confusion according to Puffness. We can be sure that chaos, confusion, and uncomfortable outcomes are the norm. There is a lot going on, and the movers and shakers are not gaining much momentum, nor are they giving up. The stakes are high, so be prepared for false flags and chaotic situations that seem to make no sense. There are efforts to break the deadlock, but there are those who are not well placed. We will let you know when that happens. The means and the people to make this happen are gathering forces, and that is all that can be said. We still stand by our position that this will happen. You have ways of stopping things that go beyond most sensory input. Anytime now. In quotes. The global financial restart event could begin any time from now, according to Mid-Mess Fair. There are many rumors, but what is true and what is wrong, you will only know the truth when it appears in your lifetime. The financial restart process started some 30 years ago in 1992. The event is being administered, observed by certain higher beings or groups who are above moral humankind and any public group. No one knows the truth. The final version, and what we know, and what the new world financial economic system will be. All information on the internet is pure speculation. The purpose of the restart is not only to focus on wealth, finance, economics, but rather on the development of humankind's potential spiritual evolution and ascension. The current global financial system has two parts. The back end, which is connected between the banks, the financial institution, the large group or organization in a system that is being watched and administered by the group of arbiters, and the front end, which is the front end of user interface of the banks that connects with individuals, companies or groups. Very few people know the rules for the backend, but it relates to natural resources as the main fuel for resetting money. The rule for the front end is information in the media. The technology for the backend is quantum computing. If it is not a sudden change to replace it with a new system, but a slow movement, then it should start with a world currency law that would be accepted by most nations. Spain. Tourism is again strong in Spain, creating half of the employment in the second quarter. The Spanish stock market rises 1.28% and approaches 8,300 points. The new Ryanair cabin crew strike begins. Rail chaos in Spain. Thousands of passengers without the train due to cable theft. The suspension on Monday of the high-speed line between Madrid and Barcelona due to the theft of 600 meters of fiber optic cable caused chaos in the train stations of both cities and affected 7,200 passengers in the middle of August, the month in which the highest number of journeys are recorded. The fire in Boiro, A Coruña, burns 2,200 hectares, but its evolution is already favorable. The government will raise the minimum wage this year to tackle runaway inflation. Historical reenactors lose their legal battle over the use of firearms. Spain advocates dialogue and diplomacy between US and China. Morocco concerned about hostilities in Gaza, calls for avoiding further escalation. Americas. Fire in a shopping center in Punta del Este, Uruguay. The fire in two crude oil tanks is still active in western Cuba. A third fuel tank explodes in Cuba as flames spread. A new explosion is registered in the industrial zone of Matanzas. The Cuban government is working this day to cool down the fourth fuel tank at the supertanker base. Honduras expresses its solidarity with Cuba after the fires in the city of Matanzas. The rescue of the trapped miners in Mexico continues, and the search for the culprits begins. López Obrador prioritizes the rescue of the miners and promises justice. López Obrador says he has not received a reply to the letter he sent to Biden on the energy dispute over the treaty between Mexico, the US and Canada. López Obrador will decree that the National Guard will pass to Army control. Judicial investigations could bring Peña Nieto to the dock. The Mexican Church expresses its solidarity with the repression of priests in Nicaragua. Bitter taste of mezcal in Mexico. From this plant comes the Mexican liquor that is on everyone's lips. A bottle is the summary of years of work. Colombia celebrates the new era of change brought by Gustavo Petro. Presidents and foreign ministers gather in Bogotá to surround Petro on this day. Petro promises to resume dialogue with the ELN on his first day as president. The Gulf clan announces a ceasefire to mark the beginning of a new era in Colombia. Petro orders the removal of Bolívar's sweat as his first act of government. The World Food Programme offers Ecuador to join the fight against child malnutrition. Peru's economy minister says monetary policy must be harmonized. Argentina's finance minister sets investment priorities and the spending ceiling. Argentinians march and pray to San Cayetano in the face of suffocating inflation. Venezuela and Nigeria closed their joint commission with the signing of strategic agreements. The European Union calls on Venezuela to respect the due process of the activist arrested a year ago. Venezuela welcomes the participants of the Russian Army Games 2022 after becoming a sub-host for the first time. The Games will take place from 13 to 17 August, with 36 competitions that will test the skills of troops from 37 countries. Brazil offers Latin America the successful surgery that separated Siamese twins. A policeman shoots World Jiu-Jitsu champion Leandro Lo in the head in a Sao Paulo nightclub. Armed gang members burn a former senator alive in Port-au-Prince. The European Union calls for voice of indigenous people to be respected in decision-making. USA. Lightning severely injures several people outside the White House. Singer Olivia Newton-John dies of breast cancer at the age of 73 at her home in Southern California. She will go to the paradise of Xanadu. My condolences to this beautiful lady. Meteorologists continue to monitor a tropical wave in the Atlantic. Uruguayan candidate for Arizona said Hispanic must become independent of might to prosper. Senate Democrats pass Biden's massive tax and spending bill. Senators introduce bill to prevent CCP from buying farmland. Biden sniffs a woman's hair and gets sensitive about little girls while visiting families affected by the Kentucky floods. Europe. Germany trembles at the risk of economic war with China. A political party led by artificial intelligence is born in Denmark. The Synthetic Party analyzed all the proposals put forward by small parties in Denmark over the past 50 years and came up with a program that represents the political vision of the ordinary person. Only Hungary has a bank windfall profit tax. A beluga whale lost in the Seine River in France is being assessed for reintroduction to its habitat. Harmful gases from a volcano threaten the safety of a village in Iceland. Archaeologists find belongings and artifacts from life in Pompeii: boots, vases, glass plates, and ceramic bowls. United Kingdom. The British are turning to cash to control spending. Civil disobedience campaign urges people not to pay UK electricity and gas bills. Don't Pay UK has launched a civil disobedience campaign to urge people not to pay their electricity and gas bills in the face of ever-increasing bills, which could triple by October. The group aims to put the companies in serious trouble. In quotes, "We want to bring them to the table and force them to end this crisis," it says on its website. 75,000 Britons will miss out on energy bills amid the inflationary storm from 1st October. Ukraine. Nuclear risk in Zaporizhzhia raises international concern. Antonio Guterres calls any attack on nuclear power plant suicidal. The United Nations warns of a very real risk of nuclear disaster in Ukraine because of Russian attacks on the Zaporizhzhia plant. Attacks in Zaporizhzhia led to the shutdown of one of the reactors at the nuclear power plants. It's a mistake. I have said Russian attacks is Ukrainian attacks because the plant is in Russian territory. Attacks in Zaporizhzhia lead to a shutdown of one of the reactors at the nuclear power plant. Russia keeps the IAEA informed of the situation at the Zaporizhzhia plant. Hundreds of wild animals rescued from shelling in Ukraine. The US announces a new $1 billion military package for Ukraine. The sale of the first ship to leave Ukraine with grain fails in Lebanon. Russia is reportedly preparing for a counter-offensive from Ukraine. Ukraine wants Russia that there will be no negotiations if it holds referendums in occupied areas. North Korea is ready to send 100,000 troops to Russia for the war in Ukraine. Asia. Tension in Taiwan could lead to a worldwide shortage of semiconductors. Beijing extends large-scale military exercises near Taiwan until 8th September. Taiwan's top defense official in charge of missile production found dead. Kerry Cassidy believes China's deep state wants Taiwan war to stimulate its economy and reduce its population, which would lower the planet's frequency, but an event of such magnitude could be exploited by the White Hats to strike. China brings thousands of tanks and ammunition to the India border. Pakistan is on India's doorstep with military movement and heavy artillery. India and the US will participate in a major joint military exercise in October. Chinese economy. China shows record trade surplus, but still faces risk of slowdown. China recorded a surge in exports in July, but the slowing global demand may force it to turn to domestic demand. China's economy would collapse in 34 days, according to Casgains Academy. Social unrest has erupted in China after nearly $6 billion worth of deposits were frozen. Thousands of police were deployed to quell the protest. Following the protest, hundreds of thousands of Chinese home buyers refused to pay mortgages worth up to $300 billion. According to reports, mortgage payments have been stopped on 301 projects in 91 cities. China is experiencing a repeat of the 2008 recession, but on a whole new level. A whole social revolt is growing as the CCP desperately censors the growing unrest. Internal government meetings have revealed substantial stress within the CCP, and the signs are that it will only get worse. China's social unrest has revealed a multitude of flaws within the country, and the implications will affect the rest of the world. And that's all for today. Thanks a lot, dear friends.